Rabbits cost the Australian agricultural industry over $200 million in lost production annually. Control measures run to tens of millions of dollars. The environmental damage they cause is near impossible to calculate. Traditionally portrayed as cute and cuddly, in reality, the European rabbit is anything but. In Australia, it's a feral environmental scourge, and at present in numbers not seen in years. We've created an ideal habitat for them. Lush green lawns and paddocks, plenty of water and vegetation cover, and few predators. They're hard to bait with poison because that can be risky to domestic pets and other wildlife. Destroying their habitat is not always feasible.
So they just thrive. And then we have the issue, peri-urban, we can't bait, we can't fumigate in a lot of cases, and then we have some cultural and vegetation overlays.
At present, says Noel, shooting is often the only effective option because the biological control methods of the past have lost their effectiveness. At the University of Melbourne, these scientists are aiming to change that, employing the latest technology that could humanely stop rabbits in their tracks, with a biological control called a gene drive.
We're essentially making a rabbit from scratch, IVF, and then we introduce those gene edits really, really early on in that development.
This laboratory-bred bunny will carry one crucial characteristic that could drastically curb the breeding ability of its feral counterparts.
Basically what it is like a selfish gene that spreads really, really fast through a population, and it's spread through breeding. So when rabbits interbreed, they have offspring, it spreads this thing called a gene drive through the population really, really quickly, much faster than normal DNA inheritance occurs.
The lab rabbit will be fertile enough to breed, but the technology could restrict those offspring to only giving birth to male rabbits, or tweaked so that all the females are infertile. Either way, the rabbit's amazing ability to breed quickly will work against it. The quicker the gene drive spreads, the quicker rabbit populations would crash. But the obvious question is, if rabbits give birth to infertile offspring, how does this gene drive spread?
So the way to do it is to actually have one sex that can continue to transmit the gene drive, but the other sex is infertile. So the best way to crash a population quickly is to impact female fertility. So in our release strategy proposal, we would have males spreading the gene drive. Their fertility is totally intact, they're totally fine, nothing's wrong, but all of their female offspring are totally healthy otherwise, but they are infertile, so they can't continue the population that way.
So this work relies on identifying fertility-related genes, crucially those that determine female fertility.
The reason we have to do it that way is because in order for the gene drive to work, as I said, it's heritable. So it's selfish genes that are transmitted from parents to offspring much, much faster than normal. But to do that, it has to be heritable, so it has to be able to be passed on through breeding.
That's why Dr. Ellen Cottingham is here at Mount Rothwell Wildlife Sanctuary, about an hour's drive west of Melbourne. There are 9 endangered native species re-established and protected here, behind a 2-metre electrified, predator-proof fence. This wooded, rocky landscape is ideal habitat for bandicoots and other small marsupials, and, unfortunately, also for rabbits.
We're out here working with the Mount Rothwell rabbiting team, and we're working alongside them to collect tissue from the rabbits that they're having to remove from the landscape for conservation purposes. And then I'm collecting that tissue and then I'm taking it back to the lab.
The gene drive technology targets the fertility or breeding capacity of the rabbit.
Basically, we're looking for ways to essentially be able to do rabbit reproduction like IVF in the lab. So we're out here really looking for well-matured reproductive rabbits, and there are certainly a lot of them out here.
Okay, back. Good girl, we've got it. Back. Dogs, back. Good dog.
The team and their highly trained hunting dogs soon have plenty of rabbits suitable for science. It's the reproductive organs of both the male and female rabbits that Dr. Cottingham requires. Once carefully removed, these crucial body parts are packed in ice.
Today we're working with all the material that we collected yesterday out at Mount Rothwell. So today we're looking to put it all together. So it's been maturing overnight. We're looking to actually see whether or not we can get fertilisation happening, which is that critical first step for generating a genetic biocontrol or a gene drive for rabbits.
The gene drive is the latest and most promising biological control yet in Australia's long history of dealing with this pest.
It's so important. It'd be massive. I seen the impact of the Khaleesi in the 90s.
The myxoma virus in the early 50s was extraordinarily successful. From 1996, the spread of another rabbit-specific virus, Khaleesi, was also rapid and deadly. But again, over time, it lost its virulence. Then in 2017, a new strain called Rabbit Khaleesi virus 2 arrived in Australia, and for a while did the same. As rabbits have developed immunity, its effectiveness has now also waned. That's why the gene drive is so exciting.
It's a fairly radical proposal to get rid of rabbits. Could be the most effective tool we'll ever have for getting rid of rabbits, but it does need a considered approach before we decide to use it.
At Mount Rothwell, 2/3 of the property is now rabbit-free.
There's no foxes, there's no cats, and then there are wildlife, that haven't been on the mainland for 100 years that are just running around everywhere. It's incredible. So to me, that really shows that if we get those invasive animals out of our country, out of the landscape, that nature will come back. It will absolutely come back if we give it a shot.
Without rabbits, Australia's landscape would be transformed, with more species of plants, vegetation, habitat and biodiversity. Everything from domestic stock and marsupials to birds, reptiles and insects. The impact of their removal is soon seen, and the quest to eradicate every rabbit from this property is a determined and unrelenting one.
We've had the dogs sweeping across. We have conservation canine detection dogs that will pick up the scent of a rabbit, and once they pick that up, they will then go to where they find that scent, whether it's a rabbit hole or whether it's a rabbit in the grass, and they will then proceed to indicate on that hole. So then that tells us that there is a rabbit there, and we need to either dig that out or look in the grass to find that rabbit.
Good girl.
These rabbits will play a vital role in this work.
So what we're trying to do is trying to obtain some usable sperm from the testes. So once we get the sample, we'll further prepare it, and then eventually it'll be added to the eggs once they've been matured in vitro.
The scientists need to identify and select live, very healthy sperm. You might be surprised to learn that sheep played a fundamental role in the development of human IVF technology. In fact, a lot of that work was done here in Australia in the 1960s and 70s, and the technology was adopted, adapted and developed for human medicine. And now, more than 50 years later, that same technology is being used to target another animal, namely the rabbit. Dr. Naomi Tapp spent 2 decades working with human IVF. Now she's happily applying that knowledge to tackling the rabbit problem.
Yeah, it's similar techniques. It's a bit different in some ways in terms of what you're trying to achieve, but some of the techniques themselves are pretty much exactly the same. So it's been really interesting to move from the field of human IVF across to animal work.
And this, some days later, is the successful outcome. Embryos produced from IVF, test tube babies as they used to be called.
And then we introduce those gene edits really, really early on in that development. So you get fertilisation and you get, cells start to cleave, they go 2-cell, 4-cell stage. You want to get it in as quick and early as you can.
This work is being propelled by recent rapid advances in gene drive technology around the world.
We've got the technology, we just need the investment now, really. So really it's about ramping up that investment in the technology to generate the animals, and then start looking at all the other regulatory aspects that come along with it.
Dr. Conningham says those discussions need to take place now.
If there's a way to do it, it's to start now and go hard, basically, on the technology. Because, as we said, rabbits are going to be around a long time and the situation is just getting worse.
Everyone from landholders to environmentalists to scientists and everyday Australians in between are willing this to work.
If we could get the gene drive working alongside the reproductive techniques, it'd be amazing to make a real impact in terms of the rabbit populations in the country. That'd be something that would be fantastic to see.